I'm on the New South Wales south coast in Australia, and today I'm going fishing. I've got my boat ready to go. The wind's up this afternoon, but I'm going to go out for a couple of hours and we'll see what we can find. If we can't catch the flathead, which I prefer, we might try a Tailor or a brim. We'll see how we go for the afternoon. Alright, it's Friday afternoon. It's a slightly cloudy September day. Just got my boat in the water for the weekend. Yeah, the westerly's up, so I'm heading over to an adjacent part of the lake called Lake Berringer. The access down there is through a suburb called Bengal or Indiana. It's Berringer itself. Well, we can access Berringer via Lake Conjola, so we're headed over that way. So I fish with most people, I suppose, a couple of different strategies. I run with lures and I run with soft plastics as well. So I'm fishing with soft plastic. This is a gulp shrimp. I like those here on the sandy flats. So I've been moving along that drop off. No luck so far. When I first pulled up at the first part of that drop, I had some hits on the fish finder. Seemed to have drifted off that back there and no bites, so I've come further along that same drop off, getting a couple of hits on the fish finder now. It's going to be hard work out here this Arvo. There's not a lot of fish activity generally. In fact, at all. Even the fish finder. There's nothing on top of the water, can't see the Tailor work. The birds are not really working any areas, so it's afternoons. It's been a hot, like a warm couple of days, like very spring weather here. So I was hoping that maybe the spring sort of fishing might start. Not. We'll soon find out over the next 24, 48 hours, but the wind's not helping today either. There's always something, isn't there? Sometimes I'll fish here for 2 hours and not get a thing, and then all of a sudden get 4 in 20 minutes, and then it switches off again. So you might have found that as well. So I swapped over to surface lure, and this is one of those banana shaped, bent shaped surface lures. There, so you can see it's got that bend in it. It's a bit of yellow in it. I like to fish with my oranges and yellows here to imitate the nippers and bait fish. So this is the Berkeley benter 1.0. I've got a few flatties on that, goes alright. A little bit more out of the wind here, which is good. There's the beautiful Lake Berringer. So we've just come down to this little spot here. Get out of the wind. We're running off a bank here and up a bank to the island, and drops off down slowly across sand and weed down to about 2 metres underneath where we are, out to about 3 metres in the middle, if that. So she's not a deep part of the estuary here, but we've got a bank, sand bank to come off. I like to fish in the shallows for flathead more than the deep water, so I'll be aiming more onto that shallow bank and come in off that. It's a little bit structure, trees are down, bit of weed on the edge there, so I try and stay off that, come just this side of it. It's probably about 2 or 3 foot at that point, and see if we can find a flatty that might be just sitting waiting for a bit of bait to come off the bank. We're out of the wind here, so our audio is going to be a little bit better. This boat's a 4 metre Quintrex Hornet Trophy. It's been a great boat. For me, I upgraded from a tinny, as most fishers do. Start off on a small tinny and then you get addicted. And go for the upgrade. This came with a 30 horsepower 2-stroke Yamaha, which was a good motor, but I didn't like the oil drop off that 2-strokes have a habit of doing. So I went the upgrade about 12 months ago to a 40 4-stroke Yamaha, and it's a beautiful motor, quiet, clean. And upgraded that gave me some more access into the Lawrence HDS. The Lawrence HDS has been a great fish finder. It's got side structure scan, as well as the traditional straight down sonar type scan. But the 30 Yamaha didn't allow access into the electric connection, so I didn't have trip meters, I didn't have speed, revs, all that sort of stuff. So the upgrade of the motor upgraded the Lawrence a bit and gave me a little bit more access to information through the Lawrence, so that's good. So overall, it's been a good boat, this one, for estuary fishing. The outside fishing that I do, I usually do with mates who have got outside boats. And so I don't need to go outside in this. So for estuary fishing, this has been perfect. Good family boat. It's still a tiller steer, which I was tempted over the years to upgrade to a side console. You know, they're a nicer looking boat, aren't they, the side consoles? But you lose footprint in the middle of the boat. So with the tiller, I can still move around this whole boat. If I catch a fish, when I catch fish, you can net up and move all around the boat. You've got nothing in the way. If I've got 2 or 3 more people in this boat, I think it fits a bit better with a tiller. I think they're underrated, the tillers. Having that motor at the back, I think works well. A little bit of a bite there. Still not a lot of action on the water here by the fish. Fish finder's getting a few little beeps. But I might change soft plastic here in a moment because I've done a few casts, and apart from that one little bite just then, there's hasn't been much at all, so we'll give them one more chance and then we'll swap lures or swap soft plastics. I use the electric Minn Kota electric motor to anchor. It's been a godsend, the electric motor, so much better than dropping an anchor every time you stop, and it just allows you to keep moving around, and just popping the electric GPS locks in where you are and keeps you on that spot. It's a really good upgrade for estuary fishing, probably for ocean too. Well, that wind's really dropping now as the afternoon comes along. Nice glassy conditions. Will it change the fish behaviour? Sometimes it feels like the lures are popping straight over their heads, doesn't it? So I fish with a range of rods. Got a bit of a quiver. Got a couple of Fluger Trions or Trions. I think they're a Trion. And they're 1 to 3 kilo rods. One's a 1000, and it's a Fluger Trion reel. So quite a small reel, 4 pound braid. It's sort of a 6 pound. I might even be 4 pound leader. It's a very nice light gear for estuary fishing. I think my other reel on the other Fluger is a 2000 or a 2500 reel. And I've got a Daiwa. It's a 1 to 4 kilo in-feet rod, and it's a lovely rod. It's got a 2500 2500 reel on that, Daiwa matched reel. It's the Levias or Luvis. But it's a good little setup, that one as well. All three of those rods run nicely with soft plastics, very light gear. I certainly subscribe to the concept of, in estuary fishing, having really light gear and making it a challenge, so that even if you do get a bigger flathead or brim, especially the brim, they fight well. You know, it's a challenge. You've got to be a little bit dexterous and careful about getting them in. Makes it a bit more of a challenge, you know, compared to just having a big rod, big line, big reel, dropping over a big fat piece of live bait of some sort, you know, or fresh bait, and just scull dragging the fish into the boat. I don't see much use in that. I think fishing with nice light gear, making it a challenge. And that gear served me well. The braid and the reels and the rods have lasted years. I always give them a wash, of course, and try and take care of them, but always try to get good quality stuff and keep it and make it last, you know. Like anything, fishing is a learning curve, and you learn lessons the hard way, don't you? You know, your first few years, losing lures in branches and in the weed, you learn to read the bottom a lot better and don't go throwing all your gear into snags all the time. But it's a lovely peaceful afternoon now. We're out of the wind here, and even though the fish aren't biting, it's a lovely afternoon. And alright, I think we'll move on to that little bay over there. It seems to be out of the wind as well. Sun's setting here. Five o'clock in the afternoon. Probably only got another half an hour. It's been a quick session, so throw a line over here and see what we can do. So it's a nice part of the bay here. Again, we'll find the little edge over there. We'll drop the electric motor. I can hear the kookaburras. The sounds of Australia there. There's some more cookers over there. There you go, the Australian kookaburra. So we've tried a couple of different plastics in this little bay here, and I'm onto a paddle tail now. That's how desperate things are. But tried a couple of soft plastics and a top water lure as well. Might try the paddle tail for a little bit and see what happens, but she's very slow on the lake this afternoon. Still feels very shut down, very winter under the water as far as fish action goes. She feels shut down, the whole lake. There's really not a lot of bird action going on. The Tailor are not running. So, you know, you'd almost call this a bit of a winter session here for the lake, rather than the spring that it is. A couple of weeks into spring, and nice warm weather we've had too this week. So the lake needs a bit of time to catch up by the looks of it. I had a session here about 10 years ago. I was with my good mate Decos and his kids and mine, and the kids had a great time here. They were catching little bream and little flatties, and we caught a couple of good flatties too from memory. So it's funny how some spots can switch on, and then I've fished here a dozen times since and not caught anything. But that's fishing, isn't it? Time to move spots. We soldier on. Alright, so we've crept into this little corner here. We're going to anchor, and we're going to push back out a bit actually. It's a bit shallow here. Just got to work out what depth I want to be. I'm going to move over to sort of 4 foot and throw back into the shallows over here. I do know that this is a bank that comes around like that, and we drop off to 5 foot there. Still a bit shallow here, more shallow than I thought. But that's okay, this is the bank I want to throw on. You can see it gets deeper there. So we're shallow here, deep out there. We're going to pepper our way along here. We're into 5 foot deep now. I'll anchor up, throw a few lines in before the sun sets. Paddle tail, give him a go, and then fall back to the shrimps. Okay, I can bite. Okay, that little bite I got before, just take a tiny chunk out of the tail of this, and I don't think the paddle's working as it should. So I'm going to swap that over. So yeah, you can see the chunk that bite took out of it, and I could feel on the line that it wasn't operating properly as the paddle, so that's dead, and we'll put a new one on. Okay, got a hit then on a surface lure. It's a nice change. I suspect the Tailor are moving around in here, so let's see if we can get a Tailor. There he goes again. There he goes. Whoa. There he goes. Hey. Alright, our first fish for the day. Took a bit of time, didn't it? It was a bit of work, but we got there in the end. Surface lure, a semi-surface lure. And we got ourselves a Tailor. Now Tailor Tailor, not bad eating, they're not great. Oh, look at that, he's got a bit of bait fish he's been eating. But if he, I'll gill him, bleed him out nice and quick, and then I'll get some fillets off him for a bit of food later. First fish for the day. There we go. Alright, well that's going to have to do us. Losing light. I'm running out of time, I've got to head back, so only had a couple of hours to try and get a few fish. We ended up getting one good sized Tailor. So that's just going to have to do us for today, and we'll try again tomorrow. Thanks for coming for a ride on the boat and a bit of a fish. Cheers guys.